I see a lot of these videos on TikTok, YouTube, stuff like that, about women leaving their husbands, husbands leaving their wives. Well, I'm 50. My wife and I have been together for about 12 years. No, I was married before that, and so was she. But the kicker is here, she was my high school sweetheart. And let me tell you, when I was 38 years old and she contacted me after 8 years of back and forth on Facebook, and I don't mean like every day, I mean like twice on Facebook over the course of 8 years. She called me and she just said, hey, you want to get married and have some kids? Well, if I'm 38, she was 36, because she was 15 and I was 17 when we met. And I'll be honest with you, she was the one. She was the one that got away. You know what I mean? And we ran into some trouble when she was younger. And I didn't realize that she was pretty ill. She had an issue. It was not idiopathic. It was, what do you call that? Oh, anyway, I'll think of what's wrong with her. Or what was wrong with her. It was autoimmune. Sorry, it was autoimmune. And we run into some trouble when we were younger. And anyway, that caused, a pretty big wedge in between us. But the truth is we went away from each other, not ever forgetting one another, I mean, I had long red hair. I used to paint pictures. She always thought I was the greatest artist that ever lived. I haven't painted a picture since 2003. That's a long time ago. I should do that again. So anyway, we get back together in about 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. And things were really good. Things were really good. Actually, things were so good that I actually decided that I would quit drinking alcohol, because I wanted more out of my life at that moment in time than just random relationships that were, here and there. I had a really good relationship in between, but things just are things. That's just life, right? And anyway, I quit drinking, and that was hard. That was probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life. Now, that being said, she actually couldn't handle the fact that I'd quit drinking, because I was an angry person. And I probably didn't deal with the death of my father when I was a kid. My dad died when I was 15, and I just couldn't get over that shit. I just couldn't. And anyway, these people, that are leaving their husbands and leaving their wives and this throwaway situation. Well, let me tell you a little story, because this is where the story gets interesting. My wife got sick. She got real sick. She couldn't handle the pain anymore, and I was like, So she was on some painkillers there for a while, and I was like, this is kind of a little bit overwhelming. She was looping, she wasn't always herself, 100%, I told her, I said, you can't drink anymore. And she didn't really drink, but I always thought, if she had like one of those hard teas or whatever, that it would mix with the medication that she was on, and nah, that wasn't it. Yeah, and she started dropping cigarettes and burning holes in my floor. And when I say my floor, it was my house. I'd owned it for years prior to even getting back together with her. So, one day I counted them, and there was about 8 burns in the hardwood. And I was just like, holy fuck, I was getting angry, And as time goes on, and she got sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker, to the point where Last year, she spent almost a year in the hospital. They took her pancreas. They took her part of her stomach. They took her spleen. They took her gallbladder. They took just about everything. And today, I sit there, or I sit here, and nobody does my laundry except for me. Nobody does her laundry except for me, and I'm not very good at it, not gonna lie. Nobody cooks for me except for me. Nobody feeds my little dog that's over there except for me. Nobody feeds my cat except for me. Nobody cleans my house except for me. Nobody gets up in the morning with me at 5 a.m. Helps me put my work boots on except for me. But I don't live this life alone. You see, I knew she was sick. I just didn't know how sick she was. And the truth is she's going to die. But the fact of the matter is simple. I love her. I've loved her since I was 17 years old. And love will make you do the strangest of things. You know, when you say for better or for worse, in front of your, I guess in this situation, in front of my brother and his wife, you make a promise. Now, I don't owe my brother a fucking thing in this world, or his wife. But I do owe those words and that commitment everything. So that's why I do it. Now, am I happy? No. Do I experience joy very often? No. To be honest with you, after she had a stroke and she forgets things, like even yesterday when I came home and she was watching Terminator on TV and she said she had never seen it before. And I was like, yeah, you have. And anyway, we had a batch of kittens just a little while ago. Probably because I was too busy going to and from the hospital. And I didn't spay the frickin' cat. You know what I mean? I didn't get the cat fixed. I was running a business. I was doing this. I was doing that. And I was to and from the hospital. And, you know, and I don't mean that she was just in the hospital having a visit, getting fixed up. She was almost in there for a year. They were trying to rebuild her stomach. And I learned so much over the last 12 years about healthcare and health and wellness. And for all the people that are getting divorced or leaving their husbands or maybe not cooking them dinner or I don't know. Man, you guys are lost. You guys are lost. You see, I'm not trying to punish myself. I'm not. Even though I am going through fucking hell in this world. I'm going through fucking hell. And I hate it. I wake up with knots in my heart. Not in my stomach, in my heart. Every day. I have knots in my heart all day. But there's one thing that I won't do. I won't let her die alone. Not a fucking chance. It is till death do us part, through the good times and the bad. And when you make a fucking promise in this world, you keep it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But it is a fact. That is the life I lead.